Shadow Secretary of State, Nick Timothy.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. What an absolute shambles. They've had long enough to work this out. The campaign for a Hillsborough Law started 10 years ago in 2016, and Labour MPs started campaigning for it a year later in 2017. In 2022, the Prime Minister adopted it as a formal Labour policy. In 2024, he put it in his manifesto. He promised it would be one of his first acts as Prime Minister. And here we are today, after another set of rushed amendments, with yet another delay, another promise to get it right, and absolutely no idea about what they're going to do, or even when they're going to do it. This problem was not some bolt out of the blue, an unforeseeable surprise. How the bill applies to the intelligence agencies is an obvious question that has been known for years. But it's a question the Prime Minister, the man they used to call Mr. Forensic, never thought to answer. Instead, he did what he always does. He made the campaigners one promise, and he made the intelligence agencies another. That's why, when report stage was due last week, they pulled it. It's why, when it was due again today, late last night, they pulled it again. And it's why just now the Minister was unable to say when the government will bring forward its next attempt to get this right. In the bowels of Whitehall right now, they're trying to draft their way through the problem, trying to find a form of words that will satisfy the campaigners and the spooks. But I have news for the Minister. Madam Deputy Speaker, you cannot draft your way out of this problem. It's a choice. If the Prime Minister believes it's dangerous to apply this law to the intelligence agencies in full, just the same as to other public bodies, then he simply shouldn't do it. He needs to make a decision. So I have 5 questions for the Minister. I'm not asking for classified information, so she needn't use that defence. But these are reasonable questions she can answer. 1. By what specific date will the government return to Parliament with a new amendment to address this question? 2. Does the government still believe it's appropriate for the heads of the intelligence agencies to determine what information is provided to an investigation? 3. If the government believes somebody else should decide, who do they think that should be? 4. If the government believes the decision rightly lies with the intelligence agencies, and this is necessary for national security, are ministers prepared to assert this difficult truth to the campaigners? And 5. What representations has the government received from the governments of other Five Eyes countries who do not have laws like this? 5 questions, 5 clear answers needed. Because, Madam Deputy Speaker, after all this time, we deserve answers for the families who have suffered terrible tragedies, for the brave men and women who work every day to keep us safe, and for the country as a whole. This completely avoidable situation is the fault of a pointless Prime Minister who has no idea of what he wants to do and no idea of how to do it if he did. He made a promise, but he had no idea of how to keep it. And he didn't make it once, he made it 5 times in this House alone. But like on tax and spend, on jury trials, on ID cards and more, the contradictions are piling up. They talk about a duty of candour, Madam Deputy Speaker, but if the Minister shows some candour now, she will admit that this has been, from start to finish, an absolute mess.
Minister.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I don't know how they dare. It is utterly shameful. I know that the Shadow Secretary of State knows how complex this all is and how much this means to everyone involved. Yet his family did nothing about this, did nothing to solve this issue, nothing for the families or to bring forward a duty of candour. So he asks me to be candid. I will be candid. This is about righting an injustice, about preventing people wronged by injustice from going through this absolute hell. So to try and make political hay from this is disgraceful, and he should be called out for it. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, I know the honourable gentleman has only been in the job a few days, and I was sincerely going to welcome him to his position and hope that we could work collegiately on this for the families and for the victims of these horrendous state cover-ups. But I would advise the honourable member that, following in his predecessor's footsteps of attention-seeking at all costs, it doesn't end well. So to answer his questions, we will continue to work with the families, we will continue to listen, we will continue to work with the intelligence services and other partners to ensure that this bill is brought back to the House when it is fit and proper.